create a very strong community about your brand, then you will have the best. VC money can't buy this. Of course, VC money at some point can make you scale much faster, but if you do right, just with your community, you will have the best. It really means a lot. That's the best advice I can give. My name is Morten Rongaard. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Reality Gaming Group.
And what does Reality Gaming Group do?
So Reality Gaming Group is an innovative studio, and we do different kind of things. We have our own studio doing games, and then we have our platform, our DAT platform, which actually is using blockchain technology and creating digital collectibles.
Okay, so two almost very different products within the same business. So
exactly.
Take us back to day one. How did this start, and which part of the business did you start with?
Yeah, I started. We started with my co-founder Tony Pierce back in 2017, but this actually goes all the way back into late 2013 when I was mining Bitcoin and selling mining equipment. So this was my first touch with the whole blockchain technology without actually knowing what the blockchain technology was, because at that time Ethereum wasn't there, so it was purely Bitcoin. And a good friend of mine showed it, saying like, "Oh, you need to see this, right? This is really interesting." So we started with selling mining equipment, and then I started actually understanding the blockchain technology, what the power behind this whole technology could. And I was getting an idea because we were just moving back from Spain with my family. I lived in Spain for 6 years, moved back to Denmark simply because of business, the whole thing. And my son actually inspired me for an idea, like, because they were stuck inside playing PlayStation, talking with their friends online, but the sun was shining outside. So it's just like, why not create a game? Because I could see that the mobile phone became more and more actually a part of their daily day. And when they left the house, it was mobile phone, wallet, and then the keys. So why not create a game where they could be social, go outside, have some fun, but also try and use new technology in that sense. So I investigated the whole market, found augmented reality as really interesting, even though this was very, it's an old technology, but was, nobody used it at that point. So I actually start spending my own money trying to create like a prototype and worked with that whole field. I came across, then was introduced to Tony, and we had a very early version. This was back in iPhone 4S days, so this is quite a long time ago. And actually just like said, okay, this is a very interesting technology. And we then came up with, fast forward to 2017, where ICOs starting to actually appear. And we were saying, okay, we can actually use this blockchain technology to create these limited edition assets and create our own token, where you could use this token as a utility token to buy these limited edition weapons for. So this was how our journey started back, with the blockchain technology, this whole thing. And then of course Ethereum was in between, where we could see that this smart contract this is the future, right? Where you can suddenly take games, and what the money you spend in games is your property, right? Instead of always like spending a lot of money in games, and if they shut down the servers, then you've just lost your investment or your ownership of these assets, which, I'm a very, what you call it, like a fair person, but I believe in that, like, this is your property. So that was actually something that was very provocative towards me. Like, I've spent money on this. Why don't I own it, right? So yeah.
So it sounds like you came into this with a real understanding then of the gaming sector, but also the technology behind it with augmented reality and so on. So I think everyone saw this boom come along, particularly when companies like Pokemon came out with their augmented reality game. So how did that affect you? Was it suddenly that there was a lot of competition, or did it actually make things easier because it opened people's eyes to what was possible? And and how it all worked?
No, yeah, it's actually a funny story because I was invited back because we were, always been on the forefront of blockchain technology, that whole thing. I was invited back to Google in 2018 to talk about NFTs, blockchain technology, and actually were on the panel together with Ross Finman from Niantic, and the funny thing is we've never seen ourselves as competitors to that, right? Because definitely Pokemon Go showed the world that you can move people from A to B for a virtual object. You're getting a reward, and then Pokemon Go definitely had the brand which just made the whole thing go boom. So we were quite lucky just to sit and wait because we were ready with our product, which was called Reality Clash at that time. But why not have a brand actually, just because it was an unknown territory, so we didn't knew how people will react to it, how will the audience react to it, because ours was very different because it was a first-point shooter game with the mobile. You don't need add-ons, but still it was a first-point shooter game, right? So weapons has always been, up for debate. Luckily, this was virtual weapons, so we didn't have the same thing. But it was quite interesting to have that conversation with Niantic because they didn't believe in blockchain technology, and we were early adopters believing in blockchain technology because, again, I saw this as a strength, putting the ownership back to the people who actually has bought it, right? So it was quite funny when we always follow each other. I've really, I've been hugely inspired by Niantic. I think they're doing a very impressive job. Also, the whole mapping, that whole thing, they've been quite. I think they've been quiet the last couple of years, but they have gone from 100 million players to 20 million really dedicated people. Right? I still see in my own city every Sunday. I see big hordes of people actually going around just chasing Pokemons, right? So there's still a massive audience out there.
It sounds like that sort of forward thinking. It's been a bit of a running trend in your business. I see that your fundraising is actually done through cryptocurrency as well, which
Yes.
we don't hear a lot about. So it'd be good to hear a bit around, one, how that works, but two, why was that decision made in the first place?
Simply because we could see that this was like a new way of Kickstarter, right? You can raise money without diluting. First of all, the risk, of course, was like you would drown in all these projects because back in 2017, what we could see that there was a massive amount of really good projects, but also a lot of scammy projects, right? People could just see quickly raise money. We prepared the whole thing. My partner, he's a very experienced in raising money also. So he said, we'll prepare the whole thing, P&L, budget, everything is just there, but not a single person actually asked. That was like, okay, that was strange. But they gave us money because they could see a use case for this, right? Augmented reality, blockchain technology, GPS, no add-ons. It had all the buzzwords around it, right? And they could actually see this was doable because we were, we had like a prototype, so they could say that, okay, you actually have developed something already. So we issued our own token, a utility token, because you need to use this token in order to buy these limited edition weapons, which we wrapped around with a smart contract, gave it serial numbers, unique parameters. When you played the game, that will update your stats. So it proven that, because again, using blockchain technology, we could record all this on your weapon directly on mainnet. So Ethereum could detect it, you can transfer it out, you could sell it. And if you don't want to play with it anymore or whatever you want, or just purely from investment point of view, right? Which definitely some speculators we could see in our community were coming in. So some really like the technology aspect of it, and some people just like love the blockchain aspect. And then people saw that, oh, I'm buying the coin from a speculative point of view. So that surprised us a bit, I would say.
So it really worked, I guess, as a way of not only bringing money into the business, but creating dedicated users, which I assume are still with you today.
They are still with us today. Definitely, we've made tons of mistakes along the way. We've been very open about the mistakes we've done, say, how can we solve them? Because instantly after the whole ICO, when we raised also, the market actually crashed in crypto, right? So we at that point, there was nothing, there was no word called tokenomics back then. This was purely just like our white paper was saying, you can buy this coin and you can buy these limited edition weapons. There's nothing about how to speculate and doing tokenomics and calculate with interest if the, you know, if the coin goes up in value, how will that affect? Because that wasn't part of the whole thing at that space at that time, right? It's definitely changed over the last 3 years, but at that time, we just didn't see that. So all the mistakes we've done, we've just been honest about them and saying, how can we correct it and just learn from it? And our community is still there and changed, but we were surprised about seeing how our community was split exactly into tech believers, people who supported us because they loved AR gaming. They saw this was the future, and then speculators in terms of the coin, but also speculators in NFTs, which were like we were some of the first actually doing NFTs, but wrapped around with ERC20 instead of a 2721 asset. So this was quite remarkable back then. So yeah, we learned a lot.
And with most businesses we speak to, they raise obviously through whether it be VCs or angels or whoever it may be, who are not always customers. So they see the business from a very outside point of view, which then dictates the level of stakeholder management. So how is the stakeholder management different for yourself? You mentioned honesty and transparency is a key part, but is there anything else that has to be different when you're doing it the way you have?
No, I think it's the most important thing actually when doing this is that you have a community behind you, and you're very honest. Take them on your journey, because the more you give them insight in your company, the mistakes you do and the good and the bad, you will actually get very dedicated people surrounding you and trying to almost be ambassadors on your behalf, which is what I can only say. Create a very strong community about your brand. Then you will have the best. VC money can't buy this. Of course, VC money at some point can make you scale much faster. But if you do right, just with your community, you will have the best. It really means a lot. That's the best advice I can give.
And bringing this investment on board, I mean, you were able to scale the business that much quicker. And we've seen it now through things like your partnership with the BBC. So tell us a bit about that. How did that partnership come about, and what's it done for the brand overall since?
Definitely, the money we got from the ICO made us create our product, totally from scratch, make it read and take it to market, and it also gave us a position within the NFT gaming space where we combine gaming and blockchain, that we could approach the BBC. And I did that together with my partner last year in March, where we were voted top 25 blockchain companies of the world. Whereas we had a really, really good talk with BBC about some of the brands they had, we could see could work inside gaming, right? And especially Doctor Who was a very interesting universe that we could dig into, because it was so complex, had real depth to it. So we could see, okay, why not take this? And we actually went back, spent 4 months in creating a concept fitting with blockchain, how we would do it, this will be a trading card game, how will we approach the market, and just present it to the BBC. So that's where the conversation, that whole thing started. And luckily, surprisingly, to be honest, they actually said yes. So that was because again, blockchain, everybody thinks that Bitcoin is blockchain, right? And it's like shady, that whole thing. But we were focusing about the technology, and this luckily is what BBC also were looking at, that you're actually securing the ownership of an asset that a user buys. And also we could enable secure trading simply because of smart contract, right? Because it's still a $2 billion problem a year just in digital assets, people are being frauded in various games, whatever it is, right? So massive problem, which we suddenly could solve, and BBC could see that, right? Alongside pushing a very known brand even more forward, right?
And what does that do for you, I suppose, having the BBC on board and being able to say you're partnering with them? What's that meant for the business with other aspects of
Oh, but definitely it's opened the eyes, I think so, for a lot of, I would say, traditional companies who has physical goods and actually can see that now we can go into this whole gaming NFT space and suddenly we can transform our physical items into digital collectibles. So it's a brand new revenue stream, and definitely that we have some very interesting talks, ever since we actually announced this one, right? And just telling you this is the future. And I luckily some of the people who actually turned us down back then, just saying no, we don't believe in blockchain. Suddenly they could see that BBC is coming on board. So okay, maybe you're actually right in some of this, right? So they actually invited us back in just for a second chat. So that was
so good, I suppose, credibility piece.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And what's next then? What are the goals for the next 12 months or so?
12 months is definitely scaling. First of all, we are now launching our marketplace for the Doctor Who, right? We are being integrated, our sidechain, it's a fork of Ethereum, but as a sidechain, because again, gas fees has been a huge problem, is still a huge problem. But now we are working with Matic, who recently just changed name to Polygon. So we are integrating our chain with Matic, Polygon, Binance, and of course mainnet. And then, yeah, we have some other very interesting partners lined up, which we will also integrate with our chain with, right? So yeah, good stuff in the making, I would say.
Amazing. And what are going to be the real sort of hurdles in the way of achieving these things?
I think the biggest hurdle is, even though we make revenue, is that we can scale the business fast enough. Because you need to be able to scale real fast, and this is the downside in now when you need to raise fund, and where we are right now is that will require traditional VC money. We could maybe go back and just issue a new coin, do something, raise some awareness, and we are working on our company token. The problem is that also takes a long time, right? Because then you need to now make sure that you calculate the right, percentage, interest, rewards, whatever it is. So the problem is with VC money and this whole our own company token is that it takes time, and it's just in this, it almost like 3 months in blockchain is like a year in normal time, right? So that's the biggest issue, that I need to wait for investment actually in order to scale fast enough. Because if it were me, I could hire 10 persons every day and I would have enough work for them. The problem is I need to have money in the bank before I can do that, right? So yeah, but that's the biggest issue.
Well, clearly a very exciting and forward-thinking organization. So for those listening, where can they find out more about your organization and yourself?
Yeah, you can always find us on realitygaminggroup.com. That's our website. Get in touch with us. We're very open. I have coffee meetings every day. It's just to not being just like hidden in meetings all day, right? I allocate my time to both be still in the community. I'm in my community every day, where I try to ping pong with our members down there, our users. Just get just get to know them, right? When new users coming in every day, just like, hello, welcome, just thank you for the support. Just trying to get them almost like in our RGG family, right? Because even though many of them come in there for Doctor Who, we are still like, we have 4 projects running right now, right? We have a big one with Smities, a US-based company called Herotainment. And then we have Emojibles, which is together with our emoji company Joy Pixels in Nevada. And then we have our own reality class, right? So, and new companies are coming in every day. So we're just waiting to sign the deals, but I need to have the manpower in order to execute. So that's my biggest issue right now. I only have 24 hours a day, but I wish I would have like 200 people just being able to work for me right now, because I have plenty of work. So
Sounds like a familiar challenge. Well, thank you very much for sharing today. And we appreciate all the advice.
No, feel free, anytime. I'm here for coffee.